So, what are we doing? We're doing a little broadcast. We thought because of my 60th birthday, we'd do this little broadcast from where we're living. We've been on the lockdown for 2 months here in Turkey. And as you can see in the background is Chalish Beach, actually, which is completely empty because no one's allowed on the beach here in Turkey. And we thought we'd fill you in on the Bayram. First of all, İyi Bayramlar to everybody. Herkese İyi Bayramlar. We're going to talk about a few things. How Fethiye is done on the lockdown. What's going to happen with tourism, hopefully, from what we've heard from local sources and also from the government. Also, we're going to talk about my films that I've recently done and what we're going to do in the future, or what we plan to do in the future. This is Trudie, if you didn't know already. My lovely wife.
Look, let's face it. Let's just be. You make it. We're not here to be formal. Let me start by asking the questions, okay? Because I've got some questions that the public have asked. That your
this
fans.
This is completely off cuff, by the way. I've no idea what she's going to ask me.
So, first question is, how long have you lived in Turkey?
Well, I came here in 1988, so it's 32 years now. But I haven't lived here continuously. When me and Trudie met, we went back to the UK for quite a few years and set up a business over there in the UK doing houses. But that's given us an income so that we can be over here now. So 30 odd years, but not continuously. Does that answer the question?
Okay, next question.
God, it's getting hot, isn't it?
Yeah. Where are you planning to film after the lockdown?
Well, of course, all our plans changed because originally we were going to go to maybe over to Eastern Bloc countries, but with the pandemic, everything's changed. So we thought we'd stay in Turkey, and I was thinking of Cappadocia, also some of the ancient ruins around that area, and then into Ankara, because Ankara is such an interesting place, and not many people know about Ankara. Now, they all know Istanbul, but Ankara's, it's not as well known. And then up to, obviously, the Black Sea area, which I've been to before, and I know how beautiful it is, Amasya, Amasra, all those areas up there, the monastery in the hillside, and also Uzungulu, maybe. I did go to Uzungulu once before, and in August, and it was completely foggy. I couldn't see the lake at all, so it was a wasted day. But there you go. So yeah, we've got a lot of plans to go different places. Also, might be doing a video on Marmaris and Bodrum, because they're the tourist areas that people want to know about. And that probably brings us into what's going to happen in tourism now. From what we've heard, tourism-wise.
Hang on, can I finish answering my questions first?
Okay, go on.
Hang on, there's some so you've answered the a lockdown one. So the next one, how did you meet? How did you and Trudie meet?
Well, I was running a bar in Fethiye after my first marriage, and so she was walking past, and somebody I knew said hello to her. And I said, "Oh, who's that? Why don't you introduce me?" And so he did introduce me to Trudie, and that's it. Right? History is, that's history, isn't it? And we sat for about 4 hours drinking coffee together, didn't we?
We did.
Which was, we had so much in common. So yeah, instant love.
It was a long coffee.
Yeah. Go on then. What else have you got for me?
Someone's asking, do you feel old at 60?
Yeah, no, I don't. My mum asked me that this morning. She just called me, actually, my mum and dad. My dad's 94 years old. And he says, don't you feel old? And I said, what, 60? I said, no. 60 is nothing nowadays, is it? When I was younger and I used to look at people who were 60, they were ancient. But 60 is nothing nowadays. I was skiing 2 months ago. We were skiing in Davraz, in the ski resort here in Turkey. So
I wasn't.
Yeah, but that's only because you had a knee op, isn't it? So no, about 40. I feel about 40 years old.
Someone's asking
You've got a lot of questions.
how many cameras have you got?
I shouldn't tell. Can you can you block your ears?
I know how many.
I've actually got 11 cameras, but a lot of them are older cameras that only record at 1080. They're still good cameras, but I don't use them very often. I only use them for my daughter. That's Melody. If she's doing a music venue, a gig of some sort, I set up all the cameras, and then I can edit and put it all together as one film. But yeah, I've got a drone. I've got my favourite camera, which is one I'm also filming on at the moment, not through the phone, but to go onto YouTube, and that's the GH5, the Lumix GH5, which is an amazing camera, best camera in the world for video.
There's a plug for.
Yeah, for Lumix, crikey. Yeah. I've also got a Panasonic FZ2000, which is got an amazing lens on it. It's just handy to carry about for wildlife and that sort of stuff. I've got a GoPro. I've got Osmo Action, which is I feel better than the GoPro. So I used a bit of that on the last film I did, the one about Fethiye in the winter.
Is that the one I bought you?
It is. You bought me it for Christmas. Very nice. It's actually cheaper than a GoPro as well. So go on then.
Okay. What's your favourite thing you've managed to capture on camera?
Oh, the flamingos. But I'm still waiting. Every night I sit here with the cameras waiting for the flamingos to fly past. I don't know where they're going. I think they're going to Baffa Lake, which is up near Izmir. But I saw two the other night and they were going the opposite way. So
tell them about you filmed three. You saw three flamingos.
I saw 3 flamingos and I filmed them. And then the next day the SD card went down. So I lost it and I haven't been able to reclaim them.
He wasn't a happy bunny.
I wasn't happy, no.
No, you weren't, were you?
No.
Okay, someone's asking, where did you get your hat?
Well, these hats, that's why I wear a hat. Look at my hair. These are an Australian Barmer hat. Australian hats. And the first Barmer hat I ever had, I was in Sturmiston Newton, which is in Dorset. And my dad had come over, my mum and dad, and we were at the Boogie Woogie day, weren't we? And it was so hot. It was a day like this. And it was so hot and I hadn't got a hat. And I went into the second-hand shop and said, have you got a hat I can buy? And the girl said, no, there's none here, but there might be one in the back. So she went round the back and she said, oh, I got this one. And I said, oh, that'll do. How much do you want for it? She said, oh, £2. So I gave her £2 for this Barmer hat. And they're about 50 quid, 50 or 60 pound. This is the Bronco version.
This isn't the one from the charity shop,
no, it's
by
not.
the way.
I've still got that one. It's actually got a slightly bigger brim. I use it for hiking usually. So, but yeah, brilliant hats. I love them. Yeah. I've always worn a hat because obviously with pale skin, you're prone to getting, too much sun. And to wear a hat for me is great for using the cameras. And I don't normally wear sunglasses because of the hat. Because of the peak, I don't need sunglasses on because I can't film and wear sunglasses at the same time. It just doesn't work. I've forever taken them off and putting them down and sitting on them. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've put my sunglasses on. I know it's sort of, but
yeah.
I can't see the questions if I don't have my sunglasses. Anyway, next question. Okay, so next question: Has your films about rubbish in Turkey made a difference? Do you think?
Yeah, I do actually. I do, and I'm honoured that that's actually happened because when I first did the film, it was a real off-the-cuff thing. I was thinking of doing it, and then I just went and did it. It was 20 minutes before we were due to fly back to the UK, and I went onto a piece of ground where I knew there was some rubbish, and did the film. And of course, it's had over 50 million hits now. I can't even calculate it because everyone stole it off YouTube and Facebook and other different companies have used it. So and it's been on TV, of course. So since then, what I have noticed is there's a lot of infrastructure from the Belediye, that's the local councils, and the government have also got involved. And whether I've had something to do with that, I don't know. I did do a speech in Istanbul as well at a summit. which was quite good because I met Erdogan's wife there, and she did a speech as well. So, but I do think, yes, I think it's influenced a lot of people and schools, and I know that some schools and colleges have been using that film to educate the kids, which is great. And I'm thinking of doing some more educational type films in the future. So maybe they'll be in the education system.
Oh, this is only one. Does Trudie help you with your films?
Not really. She has done recently.
I can't believe you said.
No. Recently, Trudie's got involved with trying to.
I'm probably your biggest critic.
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely, yeah.
from
Oh
that
God, you
point-
make me really sad, don't you?
From that point of view,
I think I've done something really good, and you instantly rip it apart, and then I go and sulk for a day.
when Mick's done a film, he works hours on these films, hours and hours. Sometimes he's up half the night working on editing these films, and then when he thinks he's got something there, he'll then ask me to review it, if you like. So, but I can be quite honestly brutal.
Abrupt, I say. Yeah, she doesn't even listen through the rest of the. If she gets to something she don't like in the film, that's it. She stands up and says that's no good. So anyway, yeah. But yes, one thing I will say is Trudie's recently got on board, especially when we went to southeast Turkey. We went to Mardin, Şanlıurfa, and that region, and we did 5 films, which are all on YouTube and some on Facebook as well, and. Tried to promote our Facebook channel, Mick Amca, which is what we're on now, which has worked, but not in the way we expected. We thought we actually might make some money from Facebook, but we don't make a penny from Facebook.
It's not an easy thing, actually, being on camera. And when, even now, I feel awkward, but...
I don't.
No, and I suppose Mick is just has his natural ability to obviously film himself, and that's why I think
it comes from my repping days.
Well, so
comes from being a holiday rep talking in front of hundreds of people.
It's not a natural thing but yeah, usually if Mick's filming me, it's when I don't know he's filming. So, but you've always filmed us, even as when the kids were little.
She's so funny.
When the kids,
she's a comedian, and she always says things wrong, which is great because that makes it even more interesting.
When the kids were little, you were always filming us. Whatever we did, wherever we were, you would always have the cameras out filming us.
But I never had the professional cameras.
We'd always get fed up with you and go, "Oh no, not again!" But yeah, so.
So have you finished with the questions now?
Oh, someone's asking how many children do we have?
Well, Trudie's got 3 from her first marriage, and I've got 2 from my first marriage, and we don't have any children together, which is probably a good thing.
Hello, kids, by the way.
Yeah, hello, kids. You haven't said the happy birthday to me yet, you rotten devils. Anyway, so, my 2 are half Turkish, because my first wife was Turkish, so they've got both passports. They've got English passports and Turkish passports. So, but Trudie's 3 are just... of English origin, British origin. So yes, there's our 5 children.
I would have asked more questions, but I'm afraid my iPad started to burn up in the sun, and it was saying,
a bit like me.
It was saying, "Emergency! Turn me off! I'm too hot." So I've had to turn it off. So So.
Well, we haven't talked about the things that we've recently put on. If you haven't seen them, I've recently did a film, Fethiye in the winter. And the reason I did that is because I really çok üzülüyorum ya, üzüldüm. Türklere burada here there's so many people, restaurants and bars that are shut, and they don't get any help from the government here. I don't think they do anyway. Not like they do in the UK and other countries. So I feel for the Turks, and I can't wait for tourism to open up again. And from what we've heard, the official announcements is that tourism should be opening. Domestic tourism will be opening up on the 28th of May, which is only a week away or less, and then the middle of June there'll be some other tourism coming in, but they're going to decide on which countries they're going to allow in, depending on how well they've done, obviously, with their own COVID.
When they bring it in,
controls.
They're going to have strict protocols, guidelines to adhere to. Like, I think hotels are only allowed to be a percentage full.
Yeah.
Restaurants are going to have their tables.
But the bars and
further
restaurants
apart.
are hopefully going to open next week, aren't they?
I think so, but their tables have got
Tables
to
have
be
got to be
far apart.
outside and far apart.
You've got to wear face masks all the time.
We've been wearing face masks.
How are you going to eat and drink wearing face masks?
Don't know. It's quite funny because everybody's wearing face masks here, and they're pretty good. I mean, I've did a bit of filming when I've been allowed out, and most people have got face masks on, and most people are keeping social distancing. There's no one on the beaches. The police are controlling it. I've been told off a couple of times for getting too close to the beach filming wildlife. So
you've been told off because they think you're over 65.
That's another thing. Thank you very much. So hopefully I'm really looking forward to tourism starting up again, especially for all the Turks who have invested so much money in. So a lot of new places have opened as well, and of course they've not opened, so they've had no income at all yet, and they've all these rentals and people who are working in tourism, which are at the moment no one's got any work, no one's got any money. The government are not subsidising like they do in other countries. So hopefully it'll be quick.
Are you going to speak in Turkish?
Ya ne yapıp ne söyleyeyim ya?
might have to
Fazla bir şey konuşamıyorum. Yok. My Turkish is getting better, I think. I had a few years out, and so I lost a bit of my Turkish. And although I did speeches at the universities and up in Istanbul, I still pick up words every day. I write something down. I've learned something every day. I learnt a new bird today called a balaban. The balaban, which I don't even know what it is in English. I also know a lot of building words because I did a lot of building here in Turkey years ago. So I know all the things to do with inşaat, what they call building. Like tuğla, bricks. Kiremit, taş temel, radyan, which is all the differences in the concrete bases. And I know quite a lot about building words, but nothing about anything else. So. But I know some people keep asking me when you're going to teach English to us, or when you're going to give us some more Turkish lessons. At the moment, I'm just holding on because I've got too many tourism things going on. So it will come in the future.
I feel like a newsreader here.
Yeah, it's
actually.
good, isn't it?
It's like,
you make a good newsreader because you've got the right
newsreader.
accent. Anyway, we're not going to waffle on.
Famous last word, sorry.
My latest film, which is done amazingly well, it's had 22,000 hits on YouTube in 2 days, which is more than nearly all my other films, and it's obviously struck a chord with people because this area is beautiful in the wintertime. Most of the people who live here, especially Brits, well, not Brits, foreign people who live here, are expats from different countries, they love it here in the winter better than the summer. And we do too, and the cycling and the hiking and the places you can go and travel around because it's not hot. It's beautiful, and it's ridiculous really that they haven't put in the past they haven't put flights on to Dalaman. There are always flights to Antalya, but it does make it easier if there's flights to Dalaman. But there was a few flights just before the pandemic. We got here from Bristol to Dalaman in the winter time.
Yep.
So hopefully that winter tourism in Fethiye will open up and it'll become a big thing. It could be a good start for, and it'll prolong this very short summer season that they're going to have because of the pandemic. It will actually hopefully go on into the winter, or it could do.
Have we mentioned we're on a curfew this weekend, everybody? We're actually...
We're locked down. We can't go out. We're not allowed out now.
We're not on lockdown. We're on a curfew.
Curfew, They'll shoot us. No, they won't shoot us. That's what a curfew is. But they do tell you off and you get fined. I think it's about £300 or something if you go outside. So
anyway, we're on a curfew. Yeah. And we're allowed back out on Wednesday. I think it finishes on Tuesday night at midnight. So I
think we've covered everything I wanted to. So yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully we may do another one of these when I've got the idea of how the cameras will work.
Yeah, and when I don't
I know
overheat my laptop.
there's ways of linking up the cameras and doing a proper production, but I really didn't want to get into all that. I have enough with my editing. So I'll say goodbye. Thank you for all your lovely wishes, best wishes for my birthday, for my 60th birthday.
You'll probably have a glass of whiskey later, won't you?
Yeah, you're right, I will. I'll have an FS first in this heat. So, yeah, nice to talk to you all. Follow us on Mick Amca. Obviously, I've got too many friends on Facebook as Mick Scarsbrook now, so I can't make friends with all people. Want friend requests with me, and I've got a limit. You're only allowed 5,000 friends, so I can't make friends with them. So follow me on Mick Amca instead, which is Uncle Mick. Or follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel, because then you'll see all the films, and you get the films on YouTube. I usually put films on in 4K, which is the better quality picture, whereas on Facebook they only do it at sort of 1080 or 720. So yeah. So thanks for watching us. See you again soon.